Thank you. Okay. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for our scheduling presentation for the high school. Hard to believe that we are there already. I am Mrs. Hannigan. I am the principal of Lakeview Junior High.
I'm Ben Baptist. I'm the lead assistant principal at Lakeview. I also work primarily with the 8th graders in the building.
So we're just going to kind of take you a little bit through the scheduling process. We have Mrs. Geiger, one of our school counselors, and Mr. Eric Rudder, also here, school counselor from North. They're kind of monitoring the chat, so they'll be giving us questions that we can answer live, or also replying to questions in the chat. So feel free, if you've got questions, to put them in the chat so that we can kind of respond as we go along in the presentation. And then we'll also do questions at the end. So we're going to specifically kind of talk about freshman year because that's what most of our, I think, we're looking for here. But we will go on and talk a little bit about the years past that as well. So we're going to show you who the counseling staff is at North. We're going to talk about graduation requirements, CCP and AP courses, because there's a lot of questions on those, how to schedule classes, and then last, our scheduling timeline.
So at the high school, this is the counseling staff. There are 4 school counselors. There is a counseling secretary, Mrs. Chandler, and North has a registrar as well. That's Ms. Fiesel. A main difference between Lakeview and North is that at Lakeview, we have 2 school counselors. One works with the 7th grade and one works with the 8th grade. At North, they divide the students by alphabet. So you'll have the same counselor all 4 years, depending on your last name.
So let's talk about what do you need to do to graduate from Pickerington with a high school diploma. So there are 3 basic requirements to graduate. One thing would be to earn 20 high school credits in a specific area, and we'll get more into detail about all these things in a minute. You need to demonstrate competency, which means you need to pass the English 10 and the Algebra 1 Ohio State tests, or the AIR tests. And then you have a demonstration of readiness, which means you're earning 2 seals, and we'll talk about that as well. Mm-hmm. So the basics, 20 credits in the following areas. You need 4 English, 3 social studies, 3 science, and then the courses that are listed are specific science classes that you will need to take. 4 mathematics, you have to get through Algebra 2. Health, which is a semester class, which is a half credit. PE or gym, which is a half credit. It's 2 classes worth though. Mm-hmm. So you would need that, or you can do a PE waiver for marching band or an approved athletic. You need 1 fine arts credit and 4 elective credits, which equals 20 total altogether. Competency is basically based on your Ohio State tests, or what we would know as the AIR test. You need to pass English 10 and you need to pass the Algebra 1. So if you're looking at the stars on the chart here, you need to score an Algebra 1, a 684 or higher, and English 10, a 684 or higher. Now, there are limiting factors. There are things that sometimes things happen and you don't pass the exams, or you're not good at taking tests or whatever. There are alternative options. You can discuss with your counselor what those would be if you need to get there. But those are the 2 basic requirements for competency. And then we have seals. There are 12 seals that are approved, 12 options. 9 are state seals, which are approved by the state, and 3 are local seals. You need 2 seals to graduate. 1 must be a state seal. You can do 2 state seals. You can do 1 state seal and 1 local seal. You cannot do 2 locals. So then you would just track it that way. There's a whole bunch of different options that you can kind of see on the screen. There is a link for the honors diploma because there are extra things that you would have to do to get your honors diploma. There's the link in the presentation there as well on the Ohio Department of Education website.
So now that you're a student or you will be in high school, you do have some options in terms of the College Credit Plus program and the AP program. They have a lot of similarities, but they have some differences as well. So we'll go over these pretty quickly. Starting with CCP, these courses are primarily 1 semester, so they're only going to be a half year. You will still earn 1 high school credit for that class. And you will earn, with a passing grade in that class, a college credit as well. The weighted credit, you would earn 5 points, up to 5 points on the weighted grading scale. There is not there is no exam required for college credit. So it's not as if you have to pass an exam like you would with the AP, which we'll talk about in a minute. The grade you earn in that course will be directly transcribed to that college to show up on the transcript. There is no cost associated with the CCP program. There may be a fee assessed if the student would fail a CCP course or drops after that specified drop date, but there is no upfront costs that a family would have to pay to take that course. And then there is an application process because this is going through the college partners that partner with the district. So you have to start by applying, and then you have to be accepted by that college and have qualifying ACT or Accuplacer scores before you are able to take that class. AP runs a little differently. It is not linked with any specific college partner. It's run primarily through the College Board. These courses are full year courses. You still earn 1 high school credit for that course towards graduation. The weighted credit of 5 points on that weighted grading scale is the same as CCP. However, there is an exam required for college credit. So at the end of the year, students in an AP course have the option to take an exam. Depending on how they do on that exam and depending on where that student hopes to go to college, they could earn college credit. Again, that's fully dependent on the score they get on that exam and the college they are attending. There is a cost as well for the AP exam, not so much the AP course itself, but to take the AP exam, it is $95. This was as of the 2021 school year. They could change each year at the discretion of the College Board. And another difference between AP and CCP, there is no application process required. You are able to sign up for an AP course. If you are considering one, I would have a conversation with your teachers to see if they feel you would do well in that course and find some success, but there is no application process required.
Now, the one thing that I kind of want to hit on for CCP classes is I have a son who's taken several, is that you have to remember it is a college class. Mm-hmm. So it is college material. It is for college students, which also means that parents cannot contact the teachers. It is up to the students. The students communicate with the teacher. So it's probably something you want to talk to your son or daughter about, because if they're used to, having to advocate for themselves, they would probably do okay. If they're not there yet, they might want to wait to take a CCP classes. It does require some maturity on the student's end.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. So the scheduling process, there are 4 items needed for scheduling. So obviously you'll need your scheduling sheet, and Lakeview students, you should be getting those this week if you haven't already gotten them.
They got them on Tuesday.
Yep, perfect. Mm-hmm. And I know you've been introduced in your E&Is to the scheduling process. So hopefully you have a pretty good head start and some knowledge as to what's going on. Pencil or pen, obviously, that'll help. An electronic copy of the program of studies, which we'll go over in a little bit. And then access to your Infinite Campus student portal to access the multi-year academic planner, also the MyApp. You'll probably hear us talk about that quite a bit. The MyApp stands for Multi-Year Academic Planner. So you're going to use the student portal to actually complete scheduling and registration for next year. So even though you have that physical scheduling sheet that really only helps you plan out what courses you want to take, the actual scheduling process is going to take place through Infinite Campus. So again, that scheduling worksheet, mainly use that as an organizer that you will then enter into Infinite Campus next week. North would like you to schedule 6 classes per semester. So English, math, science, and social studies, these will be full year courses. 2 electives, 1 full year course, or 2 semester half year courses. There are options for study halls or a specified academic support study hall or an extra elective. These will automatically be included on your schedule. You do not need to add anything unless you are choosing another class or another elective. And then lunch, again, this is automatically going to be on your schedule. You don't need to add this yourself. Study halls and lunches are scheduled by the computer, again, after your classes are scheduled. So that's not anything you have to worry about right now. And again, students can elect to give up a study hall and take extra classes if that's something that interests you. And again, there's longer course descriptions in the program of studies, which I believe Mrs. Hannigan is going to talk about.
Yeah. So everything that you need to know, and the students were introduced to this week, I think Monday or Tuesday, is on the high school scheduling hub. It is linked here if you need it. It is also, I think, sent out by myself and by North as well to parents, and we can send it again. But everything is on there that you're going to need to know. It has your program of studies. It also has your graduation requirements. It has a copy of the scheduling form in case your student needs a new one, or they didn't bring it home, or you just want to see what it is. There's directions on how to use the My App on there as well. There is some virtual elective course fair stuff, which means some of the elective classes did videos or did presentations or things, so they get a better idea of what that elective course does and what the requirements are and kind of what they're going to be asked to do, because sometimes it's kind of hard to see just by reading a description. There's also a FAQ, frequently asked questions, for scheduling on the hub as well. And like I said, it's linked in this presentation and it was sent out, but we can send out again after we're done with the presentation. The additional thing we need is, the biggest thing is the program of studies. North and Central have the same program of studies. And what it is basically a catalog of every course that we offer at the high school for the kids. So it kind of gives you specific information. Is it a semester-long class? Is it a year-long class? Is it for honors, things of that sort? So that's all in the program of studies to kind of look at and map things out. And the biggest thing you kind of want to do is not just looking at freshman year, although we're focus on that, but kind of looking at what do they kind of want to do over the next 4 years, and kind of get a plan of what they kind of want to take, or because some of the classes, you might need a prerequisite, so they have to make sure that they take it beforehand, or when is this kind of going to fit into their schedule based on the different programs and stuff that they select. So My App is the biggest thing. It's going to stand for the Multi-Year Academic Planner, which is a tool in Infinite Campus. The kids were introduced to this today. It opened today, so they're going to create classes for next year and a graduation plan, which means you're going to go beyond that freshman year and you're going to put in courses that you think you want to take for the next 4 years. Now, it's not set in stone. You can change it every year, because the kids will go back into the My App every year and review what they have. They can enter different courses. They can say, no, I don't really want to take this one anymore, and select a different one. It kind of is ever evolving, but it's just kind of a plan. The one thing that I will say from the parent perspective doing this is that sometimes when you're making your plan, it'll pop up warnings at the top, like you don't have a prereq for this or whatever. Just say, fine, okay, cancel it, close it out. It's fine. It'll save it anyways, but it's just telling you hey, you need to take this class before you take this class. And since they don't already have credit, it'll kind of pop up a warning symbol. It'll still save it. You just save it at the end and you're good to go. But it does pop up those little warnings. So that is basically your graduation plan, is filling out that My App. And like I said, you can change it. It's just an overall general view of kind of what your plan is for high school and kind of what you want to do. It also kind of helps you look for, do you have the right requirements for an honors diploma? Do you have the right classes you need to complete your seals if you're doing one of the science seal or something along those lines? So just kind of make sure that you have all your ducks in a row to make sure that you, are very successful in high school. So the schedule is a little bit different next year. We're on trimesters here. So there are no trimesters at the high school. There's only 2 semesters. First one is August to December. Second one is January to May. So their classes will be either a semester-long class or a year-long class. There are 8 periods in the day. Each class is 50 minutes long, so a little longer than what we have here at the junior high. Lunch is 30 minutes, so that's the same. And the lunch schedule is kind of an interesting rotation of how it works. But it's a new concept that they're working on, and they are super excited about it. So it's going to be a little bit different than if you have a kid at the high school already. It's going to change a little bit. E&I will only occur 1 day a week, and that is on Wednesdays. And so they have an E&I Wednesday schedule, and periods are 42 minutes long on Wednesdays, but they only have E&I 1 day during the week now. So we're looking at our timeline. This week we started, the week of February 14th. We're doing scheduling presentations in E&I here and at the high school. Counselors are available to answer any scheduling questions at the lecture hall at North. So if you just walk in the main doors and go to the right-hand side, that's where they will be on Friday, right, Mr. Rutter? You're on there on Friday morning. So they'll be there Friday. If you want to walk in and ask any questions in person, you can do so. This week, all high school students, the current high school students, will be finished scheduling on my app. Next week, the junior high will still continue on in that process. So the North counselors are coming down on Tuesday and Wednesday to answer any questions that the kids might have so they can talk with them. Our counselor, Mr. Max, will be available in E&I to help students with their scheduling. If they have my app questions, if they have questions about courses, he'll be available all week next week for the students doing there. Teachers are going to check their sheets, their scheduling sheets, make sure that they enter their courses into the my app. And then Friday, February 25th is when Lakeview students need to have their courses into Infinite Campus. So I know our counselors are busy typing away at answering questions. If you have any questions you would like to answer, we will have answered, sorry. We will stay on and kind of field some questions right now.
Some parents asked about VLA students, and Mr. Rutter directed them to Mr. Seymour and Miss Hurd, so that might be a good thing to mention.
Okay. So there's questions about current students who are VLA or students who are wanting to stay VLA or go VLA next year. Brian Seymour is the administrator for the Virtual Learning Academy, and Michelle Hurd is the counselor for the Virtual Learning Academy. So I would reach out to those two individuals to see what the scheduling process and what that looks like on the Virtual Learning Academy end.
Another question is whether summer PE will be offered. Yes. Parents should look towards the district's main webpage at the end of April, and the registration should be on there.
Okay.
One of the questions was regarding the summer PE program that is happening this year. If you are interested in signing your student up for that program, check out the district's website toward the end of April for the registration materials.
Can ninth graders sign up for sign language?
Ninth graders can sign up for sign language. It is only a 3-year program, so they're not given priority in the program. They will fill it with sophomores, juniors, and seniors first, and then if there are spots available, they will give them to the ninth grade students. But like I said, it's a 3-year program, so they do have time to complete it while they're there. They would not necessarily have to start it their freshman year.
It's a very popular program, so if for some reason you are shut out, I wouldn't worry too much about it. You will have that option, like she said, as a sophomore.
Is there guidance on parameters for honors, pre-AP, and AP? Is this something the student should ask the teacher about being prepared for?
Yes.
Yeah, so with any questions that students and families have about students' readiness for pre-AP, honors, AP, CCP classes, in my opinion, the best thing to do is to reach out to their current content teacher and have that conversation about what those courses entail, what the teacher has seen from the student this year, and their feelings as to whether the student would be prepared or not. Not only with the rigor involved, but also, like Mrs. Hannigan said, in the case of CCP, there's a different level of maturity needed for a college class. So I would definitely reach out to the teachers to have that conversation.
So one person's asking about Gateway Path. So for those that are in the Gateway Path, their teachers here at Lakeview should be guiding them.
So if students gateway in the gateway pathway, so they're in like gifted English 9, for example, or they're taking integrated science, or they're in algebra or geometry, the teachers can kind of guide them as where to go from here. There is not specific gifted classes that are listed at the high school. It's going to be, you're going into the pre-AP classes. You might be taking the CCP comp or something along those lines for English. I think it's AP English 10 though is what's recommended after gifted English 9. But there are courses that kind of fall into that pattern, and so like I said, it's not gifted specific programming as far as we've had it like through Gateway and through the junior high. It's more of they take more challenging or rigorous courses when they get there, and they just have some different options in which they can go once they get to the high school.
They asked for additional information about the seals, so we're putting the link into the chat too.
Perfect. The link is going into the chat for additional SEALs information. There's brief descriptions, but there's a lot more detailed information that kind of goes into what would you need to do the SEALs. Like I know the student activity one requires you have a certain number of hours that you are in a student activity. It could be marching band, it could be clubs, it could be sports. It just depends on what your child is interested in.
Can you also review that with the SEALs, students will automatically be given the opportunity to earn the science and citizenship SEAL because those are tied to assessment scores?
Of course. Okay. So for the science SEAL and for the citizenship SEAL, those are two opportunities that are given to every student because they are tied to courses that they could take and their assessment scores that they get at the high school level.
Their interest in the Career Center classes for ninth graders.
Career Center doesn't necessarily hold for ninth grade students. When they're sophomores, they start to explore the Career Center options. There's some field trip opportunities and chances to go visit some of the sites and some of the other programs to kind of like show interest to see if they really want to do that. But that more happens their sophomore year, and the Career Center is more for junior and seniors at that point.
Yeah, I know most of the Career Center programs or pathways are 2-year programs. I think there's a few that are only 1 year. But like she said, during the sophomore year is really when that ramps up for those 2-year programs.
They asked about students with IEPs. Who should they contact if they need additional information or advice?
So Brittany Trimble is our current special education coordinator for the junior high kids. She meets with Allison Zweifel, who is the special education coordinator for the high school, for North High School. The two of them kind of work together to schedule our students with IEPs. But they're your two resource people. So you can reach out to either one of them during the process and they can help and guide you through it. Also, if you have your tutor or your teacher of record, they will help with the scheduling process for those students as well.
Is there more info on the PE waiver for athletics?
That's all we can.
Yes.
Yeah, there's the PE waiver. A link will be added to the chat.
Okay.
Let them
Is
know.
it the Google form one?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're looking for the PE waiver, there is a Google form that the students will fill out. We'll put the link in the chat. They have to do it every year after they complete it, right?
Now.
They just have to do it once now?
Once
Perfect.
now after they finalize their 2 seasons.
Okay, so
Nice.
apparently now it's only once. So after the student finalizes their 2 seasons of whatever sport or activity, marching band counts, that they're doing, you would just fill out the waiver once and it goes right to the counselors and they will confirm that they've received it and that it appears on their transcript.
As a current VLA student, when do we have to decide on ninth grade VLA versus in class?
The sooner the better because classes will start to close.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, what I would do if you are a current DLA student is I would go into your MyApp and I would schedule classes for the high school. I'm not sure when they're going to open the VLA registration to like say that they want to do it.
VLA my app is blocked.
Is it?
Mr. Seymour and
Okay.
Mrs. Hurd need to unblock that.
Okay. So apparently VLA is locked. So I digress. You need to make that decision sooner or later. I know that there are several students who are decided that they're coming back into the building for next school year. So they're going through the scheduling process already. So if you are thinking you're coming back into the building, you would need to let Mr. Seymour know so that we know to add you to the right program at Infinite Campus so that you can schedule your classes.
You don't have it. So one question was if their child's theater class counts for high school. I don't believe you offer a
We have
junior
one.
high.
Yeah.
You have a junior high?
So Theater 1 at the junior high counts for high school credit. Actors Studio does not. So the Theater 1 is the first class that our kids would take. Actors Studio is an additional class. So the Theater 1 counts for high school credit. Actors Studio does not. So they automatically have that credit if they took Theater 1.
Students can view their transcript to see what credits they have in high school.
Okay. And in Infinite Campus, they can look at their transcript and it will show them the credits that they earned in the junior high going into high school as well.
Can you say again when counselors will be available at high school?
This Friday, counselors will be available at North High School in the lecture hall.
Actually, it was tomorrow as well.
And tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, and tomorrow,
Yeah.
Thursday. So Thursday, Friday this week, North counselors will be available at North. Next week, North counselor will be available Tuesday and Wednesday at Lakeview to answer questions, and that will be during our lunch periods.
And if they were hoping to do a Google Meet to meet with a counselor, what would be the best process to do
There's
that?
a
If they go to the
link.
scheduling hub,
Okay.
there is a link on the scheduling hub for each day, but they just log in and they can meet with their counselor.
Okay, perfect. So if you are interested in meeting virtually with a counselor on Google Meet, there is a link on that scheduling hub where you can schedule or sign up for a time to meet with them.
Any other? We'll hang on for a couple more minutes to see if there's any other questions that kind of roll in. But we've been super excited to help your students through the scheduling process. I know they have a lot of questions and they're really excited, probably more excited than you guys are, for them to be in high school and to move on. So we're excited to help them kind of plan for the rest of their.
There is one
Sure.
question. Mrs. Hutmeyer asked.
Mhm.
They need a schedule for English 10 because they're gifted English 9.
Mhm.
They would do that through their My App. Now, the one thing I will stress,
It
that
won't
is a
come
known
up.
issue. It won't come up.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come up,
We
then
can take care of
email
it.
the counselor. Will
Yeah.
have it.
Yep.
So if it's a class, like for example, they're in gifted English 9 and they have to schedule for English 10 because it's saying that they're a freshman and that they, can't do that. You can either, last year we just gave the whole roster to us and we scheduled it, or they can email the counselor at the high school and the counselor at the high school can schedule it and lock it in place for those students as well. So, we have multiple avenues in which we can make sure that they're in the right classes. And it's a known issue. It's just because it's an extension beyond the year that they're normally in. So we see that a lot.
Is there a GPA needed for the honors diploma?
Yes.
What is, it's like a
3.5.
there's a 3.5 GPA requirement for the honors diploma. And it's the cumulative GPA.
And Sarah, were you putting a link in the chat? Okay.
Several people are telling you thank you. It's very helpful. And then one more question: does pre-AP get honors credit?
Pre-AP is on a 4.5
It's a 4.5
weighted scale. So pre-AP courses are what we would call honors credit. There, it's a 4.5 weighted scale versus a CCP or an AP class, which is a 5-point weighted scale. The normal scale would be a 4-point scale. So AP or pre-AP course would be weighted 4.5, a little bit more.
So one question is, when taking a sport waiving PE, where do you sign up that is not on the form? If it is a school sanctioned Pickerington
If it's an
sport,
OHSAA sport, correct?
yeah, if it's an OHSAA
Uh-huh.
Pickerington North sport, it qualifies for PE.
Right. Okay. So the question was sports and the PE waiver. If it is a OHSAA, Ohio Athletic School sanctioned sport, it will appear and it is allowed to do the PE waiver. The other one that would be included that's not necessarily on there is marching band.
Right.
Cheerleading counts.
Mhm.
But all the other sports that are offered at the high school count because they just added volleyball.
They added volleyball,
And
bowling was added last
bowling.
year.
So, and lacrosse?
That was added. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think every sport that we have as a varsity sport option is now eligible for PE waiver. But you have to complete your season and then fill out the forms.
Sorry, answering questions. Somebody was asking if the scheduling hub is an infinite campus. It is not.
No, the scheduling hub is actually linked on the district on the website, like the school website. And like our students here all have it in their Google Classroom, but I can send out the link to parents as well after we get off this meeting.
Somebody is mentioning on there they have to have a 3.5 GPA every year for the honors diploma. That is just a cumulative GPA.
So it's a cumulative GPA. So for the honors diploma, they have to end high school with a 3.5 GPA. So they could be above or below a 3.5 in any one given semester, but their overall end GPA will be the one that determines it. So it adds up and averages out.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be every.
Yeah, they don't have to hit a 3.5 every semester or every quarter.
See any other questions right now?
We're not seeing any other questions, so we'll hang out for maybe 30 seconds more if anyone has a final question. If not, I always say contact me if you've got questions. I will answer them via email or contact any one of the North counselors. They will get back to you probably I would say Monday next week, because their scheduling ends at the high school on Friday, and then we have an additional week for them to focus on the junior high students, since it's a brand new process for them. Well, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate everyone coming on and listening. And we're going to put the link to the recording of this. So if anyone missed the meeting, it will be back. If you want to go back and review, it will be on there as well. So we'll post that on the scheduling hub, and we'll send out the link soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Hold on, one other question.
Oh,
Oh,
final
one
question.
more question.
What are the SEALs program? Do they have to? So somebody missed the information about the SEALs.
Okay, so SEALs are one of the requirements for high school graduation. You need 2 SEALs to graduate. It is a requirement. You need 1 state SEAL. You could have a second state SEAL, or you need another or a local SEAL. But 2 SEAls are what students are required for graduation.
Could you put that link in the chat?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
And the link is going back in the chat for the SEALs. Well, I think that's it. So we appreciate everyone and have a great evening.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.